Hey everyone, what is up? You're watching another episode of Super Nintendo Collection Quest, the monthly video where I go over my recent Super Nintendo game pickups. I do a quick little review on them, and you have a chance to win a free game for the system of your choice.
As a kid, I loved my NES, but when I got my Super Nintendo, that was it. Great graphics, sound, and gameplay, I was hooked. Some of my fondest gaming memories are from playing some of the greatest RPG, adventure, action platform, and multiplayer games on the SNES. It is my goal to own every North American Super Nintendo game released. So, follow me on my quest to Super Nintendo completion.
So this month, I did a few trades and ended up with only 4 new games to add to my Super Nintendo collection. Well, 3 of those are ones that I've been wanting for quite some time. And the 4th one was just one I had never played before, but I thought it looked pretty cool. And that game was number 578 in my collection, Zardian. Zardian is a side-scrolling action platformer with a bit of RPG elements thrown in the mix. The game has a save battery for recording progress, which I always love to see on the Super Nintendo. In Zardian, you'll take control of 3 different robots with the ability to switch them out at any point in the game. Each robot has their own strengths and weaknesses, and each can earn experience points and level up, rewarding you with a larger life total, larger ammo capacity, and increased firepower. Only knowing this bit of information on it, I was really excited for this title and was fully expecting it to be one of my new favorites. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Zardian's graphics and sound are not quite up to par with other Super Nintendo games. Perhaps this is due to the game releasing early on in the Super Nintendo's life, before developers really started to get a grasp on the hardware capabilities. It doesn't look like a lot of thought was put into the play control either. I mean, I can certainly look past the graphics and sound, but play control is a big thing for me. The giant robots don't feel like they have any weight to them. There are only 9 stages in this game, all of them being rather short, and about half of the stages do feature a boss battle. However, these boss battles are not very well designed. The first boss is one of the better ones. I mostly found myself hanging back and shooting the one target, only rarely moving forward when a special curve shot was fired at me. The second boss is of a water element. Now wait a minute, those water sprites are ugly. Let's vaporize them. That's a little prejudice. Would they even be hostile if we weren't attacking them? This boss is simple. Stand still and keep shooting. When this bubble shoots out at you, jump over it and continue shooting. The third boss tries to cover the targets with its claws occasionally. So you'd normally need to dodge the flailing arms and shoot when there's an opening. But I quickly realized I could just stand on this ledge using the cat-like robot and bypass his attempt at blocking me. When these guys fly out the side, I switch to the robot that can shoot upward and repeat. When I got to the 4th boss, I couldn't figure out how to hit him. I tried shooting him everywhere and couldn't find any targets. Oh. Never mind, I guess he just kills himself. So for this one, you just need to move out of the way and let him do his thing. So yeah, just about every part of this game is lacking in some way or another. Near the end of the game, the programmers must have realized it was way too short. So they make you go back to levels you've already cleared to search for 3 newly hidden objects to unlock an obstructed path. That brings me to another problem with this game. It's way too short. I mean, I played completely through it while recording this review, and this was my first time playing. To be completely honest, I did enjoy my playthrough of this game. I enjoyed leveling up the robots and seeing them get more powerful as I played through. And, you know, sometimes it's just nice to play through an easy game from start to finish if you don't have very much time on your hands. Alright, so then I picked up 3 games I was actually looking for, and one of them is number 579, Mr. Do. Alright, so Mr. Do is a game I've wanted for a while. This is a simple classic arcade game that I really enjoy playing. It was originally released to arcades in 1982. The game was heavily influenced by Dig Dug, another popular game at the time. The reason why this game is so special to me though is because it's a game I had on my TRS-80 computer back when I was a little kid, and coming back to it now, it just brings me back to my childhood. One of the things I've always loved about Mr. Do is that it gives you multiple ways to pass each stage. To move on to the next stage, you can either destroy all of the enemies, collect all of the cherries, spell out the word extra, or collect the rare diamond. When you start, enemies will be let out of a portal near the center of the stage. To defend yourself against the enemies, you will have a ball attack. You only have one ball, so while it's bouncing around, you won't be able to fire another one. After it hits an enemy, that enemy will be destroyed for good. He won't be able to come back like the ghosts do in Pac-Man. After this, you'll need to wait a few seconds before you'll have access to your ball again. Each time you kill an enemy with it, you'll need to wait longer for the ball to come back. This is to encourage you to focus on other things to do in the game, and there's quite a bit to do. When you dig under an apple, it will fall, and if an enemy or Mr. Do is underneath when it drops, they will be crushed. Once all of the enemies have come out of the portal, there will be a food item you can grab. If you take this, normal enemies will be frozen, and new enemies will come out to get you. One of those enemies will be carrying a letter. Destroy this enemy to collect the letter. If you can spell out the word extra, you'll be awarded with an extra life and you'll clear the stage. On rare occasion, there might be a diamond hiding in an apple. Collect this to clear the stage and earn bonus points. On the arcade version of Mr. Do, collecting this diamond will also give you a free game or another credit. Now this was completely unheard of for arcade games to do at the time. Of course, pinball machines do it all the time. Reach a certain score, win a free game, but an arcade to do this was actually pretty cool. The Super Nintendo version also includes a two-player battle mode. In this mode, you'll play two players at the same time, where you'll compete for high score. And you can actually kill the other player's lives off too to help give you an edge. Anyway, this is a fairly simple game, but with all the things to do and various ways to clear a stage, it's definitely my favorite of all the 80s arcade games. Next I got number 580, Knights of the Round. Knights of the Round was originally released in arcades as a three-player co-op side-scrolling beat-em-up. In 1994, it was eventually ported to the Super Nintendo as a two-player game. I'm a little disappointed that they chose not to support the multi-tap device, which would have allowed for more than two players on the Super Nintendo. But you can't complain too much. The game looks and plays very close to the original arcade version. Each player can choose from one of three characters, Lancelot, Arthur, and Percival, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. The game plays like your typical arcade beat-em-up, but with an experience and level up system to give it a bit of an RPG feel, or at least as much as an arcade game could deliver at the time. As with many games in this genre, it can feel a bit repetitive at times. You'll only have 2 lives, but the game will start you off with around 9 credits that you can use to continue right where you left off, including your level and experience. Now that may seem like a lot, but you have to keep in mind this game was designed to make money in the arcade, which means you'll likely be dying quite a bit once you're a few stages in. If you're looking for that 90s arcade beat-em-up feel on the Super Nintendo, you can't go wrong with Knights of the Round. With 2-player co-op and a level-up system, this is a solid Capcom arcade game. If you like this game, you'll probably also enjoy The King of Dragons, also released by Capcom only a few months prior to this game. You can find Knights of the Round in Capcom Classics Collection Reloaded on the PSP, as well as Capcom Classics Collection Volume 2 for the PS2 and Xbox. And finally, I've been wanting this one for so long. It is such a fun game. Number 581, Contra III. The first Contra game on the NES was so perfectly crafted. The gameplay was solid. It had 2-player co-op. It was one of the better games you could get on the system. And what Contra 1 was to the NES is what Contra 3 is to the Super Nintendo. This game is solid. It takes full advantage of all the features that SNES had to offer, excellent music and graphics. The game even played with the Mode 7 effects that the Super Nintendo had to offer, which allowed for limited sprite scaling and rotation features. They built a whole level and boss around this mode that actually plays well and doesn't feel gimmicky. The coolest thing though is that if you're playing 2-player co-op, the level will actually go split screen, so you can split up and take out multiple targets quickly. The explosions and destruction in this game feels so satisfying. And there's a lot of variety to the enemies and obstacles in this game, making you think about your next move. Throughout the whole game, there's something exciting and new happening, keeping this fresh all the way through. The game offers a variety of different gun types as well as a barrier and bombs to pick up. The boss challenge all the way through the game. If you haven't already played this, be sure to pick it up in one form or another. It's simply a joy to play through, even after beating it. You can find this game on the Wii or Wii U eShop, or as a slightly modified port on the Game Boy Advance called Contra Advance: The Alien Wars EX. Alright, well, it's been a long time since I played Contra III, and I'm glad to finally have it back in my collection. Alright, let's just get on to the game giveaway. So this month's winner for the random free game is Shin Megami Talks. Congratulations, send me a private message, let me know which system you would like the random free game for, and let me know which address you'd like it sent to. By the way, he also makes some cool videos, so check him out on YouTube, Shin Megami Talks. And if you would like to enter for next month's game giveaway for the random free game for the system of your choice, all you have to do is like the videos, this video here, leave a comment below. The comment can be about anything, and be subscribed. So subscribe if you aren't already. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I will see you later.